or something. Today is a very exciting day, a day we've waited for about 3 years. Yes, we are getting the solar installed.
You're watching West Cork Wonder,
where we turn a forgotten West Cork farmhouse into a thriving homestead.
one DIY step at a time.
Why not hit subscribe?
And come along on the adventure with us.
3 years ago when we moved here, that was the first thing we did, was set up a pad for our well and our water and a powerhouse for our electricity. Little did we know that we'd be finally putting tick over it to say that everything has finally been installed. Water, solar, pump, batteries, powerhouse.
We had a notion we wanted solar in the future, and when we put the well in that building right there, we kind of figured that we'd want our electricity to go there eventually, and some sort of a solar system we'd put in there. Now, we thought it would be a small 6 kilowatt system. We didn't think we'd need a battery. And actually, there's somebody across the valley that I originally bought a 3 kilowatt solar system off. Thanks, Eddie. And we eventually didn't go for that. We decided we wanted something bigger, so I sold them, and we were going to get something bigger, but we weren't sure. So it was at that time really we started to, well, we didn't have the money actually until we got the house finished, and we decided to sell the boat. And that was the boat was kind of not quite a nest egg, but that was our solar fund really. So we had the money in the bank account, and we're wondering, right, we're ready to go with solar, so what should we do? So I guess we kind of tried to do a little bit of research on the solar itself. When the time came to pick out somebody to install, we kind of thought, firstly, the big decision was whether we go grid connected or off grid. We always wanted to go off grid. We had the plans done for it. We knew exactly what sort of system we needed, and it was going to be coming in around 30,000 euros, and part of that involved a very big diesel generator, because you're going to have to rely on it. Now, you won't use it a lot. There may only be a few days you really need to use a big generator, but on those days you have to have it. You absolutely have to have it, or you've no cooking, heating, or freezers really would be the main thing for us. So we had that all set up, but we started to get a little bit of cold feet, because with our plans for the additional renovations in the future of the barns, the additional spaces like the bull house or the tiny homes or the cabins, we kind of wanted to be a little bit more certain that we'd always have energy available to us. And we had the electricity connection, so we kind of figured maybe we should go grid connected or on grid. So we started to look at a hybrid system that has an inverter and battery, but we still like the idea of being off grid. And what we found was that a lot of the systems that we were researching, you needed a separate inverter for off grid, or you needed a separate inverter for hybrid. They weren't, well, you could get around it, but they weren't really interchangeable. So we were unsure, and we decided to talk to a few specialists, see if they could kind of advise us on what we should get. We weren't sure who to approach, and we talked to a few Facebook groups. One of them is a really good one, actually, the Irish DIY Solar, Irish Solar Owners Group. I mean, it's a minefield trying to figure out the information you could get.
Yeah.
So one of the things we did is we put up a couple of polls to say our location, and we asked to see who was the most highly recommended. And we got 3 that were very highly recommended. One of them was actually a very small outfit. They're the ones we actually went with in the end. And the other 2 were highly recommended, and I won't give their names, but once we started interacting with them, didn't really
They
come
didn't
across.
have the same level of customer care.
But before we get into those, we'll just maybe talk about the systems.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of them said that it's completely impractical, but not impossible. It's impractical to run an off-grid system in Ireland. What they all kind of suggested was, for the cost it would be to buy the generator, like service it, or to buy diesel for it, you're probably better off investing in additional panels, solar panels, and during the summer then they will actually use more energy and feed it back to the grid, so that you can then pull that back during winter when you need it. So it's kind of a little bit less sort of I don't know, maintenance anyway, or less kind of moving parts to go that way. So that kind of appealed to us. The energy is more expensive than what you sell it. So I feel the feed-in rates or the amount you sell to the grid, it isn't really the best. And that put me off. But I had a notion that I used to use a cryptocurrency miner in the past, not to make money, but as a heat source actually, because to run this, it generated quite a lot of heat, didn't it? Mm-hmm. And so the crypto side covered, I think I earned like €2 a day, and that was more. I think the cost was like €1.80 a day, so it kind of covered that. But then we got free heat for a little garden cabin that we had in our last house. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I know that I can always use a surplus of electricity for other things, not necessarily feeding it back to the grid. So I still wasn't sure whether we should be an off-grid or a hybrid connected to the grid. So when we spoke to all the companies, two of the companies actually suggested the system we have, and that was the SIG Energy, the Cygen stores the battery. And the SIG Energy is the only one in Ireland that's an automatic changeover. So if there's a power loss, it'll change over within like split seconds. We'll get Willie from Cronin Electrical to explain this later. But when I heard that it would switch over from hybrid, so connected to the grid, to completely off grid within a fraction of a second, I thought this was a really, really good system that we could use. And at some point in the future, I don't know, if the electricity system collapses or if we just decide to stop paying electricity, we're happy that our system is fully off-grid and it's really, really smart.
Because with the other systems, they don't switch over. It's like it's a manual.
Some of them have a manual changeover.
But then you've only access to...
Yeah, and some of them won't allow you use your solar. They'll only give you they'll put a socket on your battery so you can use your battery. So it's all very messy, and they don't fully work when you're not connected to the grid. Like, you need the grid to power the inverter so that you can use the battery.
Yes,
so if your battery goes completely dead and you've no grid, you've no power. So they weren't appealing, but this system was quite appealing. So we started to research it, and we kind of felt this was the one we wanted. It is the most expensive system on the Irish market, but there's an AI mode in it where it'll analyze your usage patterns. It'll analyze all the data providers in Ireland, the energy providers, to figure out what's the best plan for you. And it'll forecast weather for the future. And it'll adapt your kind of charging, discharging, or solar production and export capacity based on the weather as it's coming up. So that's really smart. And for us that are going to have to run a few properties here, it kind of makes sense on that front, really. Doesn't it?
Oh, completely.
So we had that narrowed down. So we spoke to the first guy that came out, and we spoke to a lot more people, but we only invited 3 people out. And I won't even go in with all the other people.
3 companies.
We heard and we discussed with in the past. They're horrific. It really is a minefield trying to get.
Yeah, and actually there's a lot of scammers out there.
There's a lot of scammers. There's
a lot of people telling you can do things, but you can't. And especially I come from a little point of view that my mum got this a year ago, and she's hardly she knows how to work it on her app, but she doesn't really know what the app gives her in total. Like, she doesn't have a battery. She's a very small house, so it's running very well for her, and she seems to always be in credit. But I feel that an older person could easily be taken advantage of by these systems. And as Willie will tell us later, one of the biggest things is you have to be able to use apps on your phone. You have to be able to access everything through the internet. There's no such thing as a little screen, a little computer on it, because that does no longer exist. You have to be mindful that there's companies making money out of people and not really telling the whole truth of what it's going to do, or explaining what it's going to do.
Or outright lying also.
Yeah, so you've got to be very careful about who you choose.
Somebody that was advised to a group a year ago possibly won't be advised now. As the technology changes a company's ability to work with that technology or support it will also change. A lot of the big manufacturers, like Hawaii is a big one, or Hawaii, but I think they're leaving the EU market, and they would have been a really big one actually. So they won't be there anymore. So like if you had a system by then, maybe your company's gone out of date or your company's gone bankrupt or no longer exists. Maybe the products you bought, they no longer exist. So you really have to have your wits about you.
You do, and there's so many people, and we go on and talk about this. We'll probably talk about this with Willie later, but there's so many people involved in the whole process, more than you could even realise. The person who comes out to your house knows nothing about putting solar panels up, isn't an electrician.
Salesperson.
You know, they're literally just trying to sell it to you.
Yeah.
So I would be inclined to say that if that person is saying to you, oh, you know, it's nearly the end of October, you really want to get in now because you get this much off. That wasn't going to do it for us, because we don't, this person is trying to make a quick sale at the end of the day, and what we want is the right thing for us. I couldn't give a shit if we got 10% off or 20% off.
Yeah.
You know, so the person who comes out to you, I feel the person who comes out to you needs to be able to give you the information, and so the proper information. And if they're not quite sure, they find out from maybe another member of the team or whatever. However, in a lot of cases, this is a case that you've the salesman, but then you've got a different company who's going to be running the electrical side, and a different person who's going to do the roofing. So you've 3 different companies on the go here. So we found with the company that we chose in the end, they do the whole lot from start to finish.
And let me just say there that we had 3 companies. After all the research, we had 3 companies that invited us. The first company was very friendly. Kind of set my alarm off because he was too friendly. He seemed to have an answer for everything. But he started to gaslight us, tell us certain things like a changeover switch was illegal. You're not allowed to do it. Anybody that's offering it is cowboys, so you better stick with us. That was weird. Then he started to sell us a system that they were offering but absolutely didn't suit our needs whatsoever. And then he got a feel from us that we weren't quite happy with that. And then he just kind of blanked us. He didn't send us out a follow-up quote or a package or anything.
We didn't even get a quote from him. No,
we weren't going to pick the cheapest quote. We were more happy with the service and the people that we were meeting with. And then the second company, which was hugely suggested,
massive
in West Cork,
yeah.
but
our
they're a
neighbours
little bit more expensive, but that's fine. We're happy to pay for that if needed.
Yeah.
They were just too busy. They couldn't even come out to us. So they tried to give us a quote and communicate with us over email, which really was...
Well, we got a phone call, but the girl who gave me the phone call had sort of a list of questions.
She was like an admin staff, really, wasn't it?
If those questions aren't relevant to your house, then it's a bit silly asking the question. But like it completely... I think their objective now is that they're wasting time by going out to customers. Yes, I see perhaps maybe that is a problem, but at the same time, if you don't call out to the customer, you have no idea really what they want, and you have no idea if they're set up. And I guess from our perspective, that company looked on the map, found our postcode, had a quick look and thought, no. Like, it's a farmhouse. Actually, on the map, as you see it now, we actually look like we've got a massive caravan parked outside the farmhouse, and we've got all sorts of everything everywhere, which we still do in a lot of cases. But I can see why people, it's not your average estate where all the houses are the same and they've already done 3 of them already. So, like, I can see why they'd turn us down. And we could see that later on, when it was kind of spelt out to us by the company we finally went with.
So the company we finally went with, they didn't have a large number of reviews, but of those reviews that they had, they were very, very highly rated. And the customer service was called out as being pretty good. Yeah,
the overall reason for going with them was because my mother had a house also in West Cork, and when she let that go, there was a couple who moved in there, and they have put in a very, very big system similar to ours. And when I went down to meet them, they said to me, if you are thinking of ever getting solar, you must give Cronin's a shout. And so that's who we ended up going with in the end. and Cronins are local to the area of where my mum is living. It's really just down the road. I also went to school with the guy who runs the company, Dennis. Hello, Dennis.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And he probably doesn't even remember
Yeah.
me. But so there was kind of like a link there that
Well,
Kilbritton,
there was only,
you know,
there was only
Kilbritton.
like 14 people in your entire school across all
No, there was maybe 30 people in the school.
in 6 years. All right, anyway, go
Yeah,
on.
but anyway, so Kilbritton, of course, would be somewhere that I would consider still home, I suppose. So it was nice to hear that it was a company from there. Now we're a good 2 hours from Kilbritton, so we didn't know that they would even come out, but they did, and they took the time, and they ticked every box that we were looking for, really.
Yeah, and I think the thing I liked about it is they were an electrical company for like 20 odd years or thereabouts. And they started to get into solar, like, I think about, I don't know, it must be 4 or 5 years ago.
Maybe.
And they are growing their team very much. So they're very eager to do things right and kind of have good customer service. And when Craig was the person that came out, which normally it's been salespeople we've been interacting with, he was like a technical lead, so he very much knew the ins and outs and what is possible and not. And anywhere he didn't have a very good answer, he put us in touch, and the three of us were chatting with the lead
Electrician, I think. Yeah.
to help design the system. So really kind of held your hands at all kind of levels of the quote and the design phase, which we didn't get anything similar to other
No.
companies. So
No,
we can
no,
we can
no.
only give
No.
feedback on the service we had and the involvement we had with other companies, but
Yeah.
it's been pretty poor compared to Cronin's, to be fair. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of other people that have given a similar recommendation, like the ladies that put the solar in your old house. So I can only imagine that, this is an issue. And I think we did speak to some of the electricians when they came out, and the electricians like commute from like 2 hours away to come. One of
They
them's
do,
in
they do.
Dungarvan,
They're
and the
really-
other one's in North
It's a
Cork.
clearly a fast-growing company, and they've clearly got a good name because they've really got a reputation in East and West Cork.
But
And
my
the
point
city.
is that they can't get staff.
No.
So they got to get staff from miles and miles away. So
Yeah.
these guys were taking 3 hours just to get down to us
Yes.
to like set up.
Yeah.
So I can understand why maybe there's issues with customer service, and like you really have to work hard to give a good customer service. Cronin's Electrical and Cronin Solar, to be fair, they did that.
They did. Yeah, they did. And
Now we didn't quite mess them around, but we gave them quite a long lead time because we figured out our system with them, and then we had to wait
we
for
had the
our-
ESB had to change.
No, first of all, we had to wait to do the trenching with our electrician. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
did a bit of trenching. We got my electrician out. Then once that's done, we had to get the ESB out, and they were like, there was almost a 6-week delay on that. So we're about 4 months from when we met with them to when we installed them. But as soon as we said we were ready, I think it was probably about a fortnight after we finished, and they gave us a ballpark date, but
Yeah.
they were pretty good in their
Oh, yeah.
scheduling.
But like even when we were ready to go, they were almost ready.
Yeah.
So it didn't seem long to wait, even though we had kept them waiting months to get all of our ESB and everything up to date, which seems like a decade ago now at this stage.
So, first of all, the weather was pretty bad. I'm just going to show you a little bit of footage. I didn't take a huge amount. It was hard to film as the electricians were working in the pump house, and I have a little bit of time-lapse and drone footage of the guys putting up the panels, but the weather was bad, so the electricians came first day, and they said that we were short just a little bit on the roof, so we had to put a little bit of an
An extension on it.
I think we have some footage of that I'll put in now.
Well now, what is going on here?
It is 7 o'clock in the evening, and Rob is lying in the muck, not quite enjoying the sunset.
Yeah, it was raining all day.
Yeah.
Literally just the last 30 minutes. But we had the camera set up for the roofers to come, and I don't know, we were just doing jobs and stuff. As it happens, it was too wet for the roofers to come, so we had the electricians come and
Excuse me.
but one of the things I noticed is we're short by, I think it was 40 centimeters of the roof. So we had the panels, we had some wood lying around, so this is the extension to the extension. And I mean, it's not the prettiest as it comes up here. The metal's getting worser and worser and worser, but be grand, I'd say, be grand. It's not quite flat, so that's kind of not really helping me, but
the more you put the screws in, I assume
it's tightening up.
it tightens it up.
So it's pretty sturdy now, I have to say, not bad. So I just need to put 2 more braces on the inside, and I need to put the roof tack bolts in, and I'm going to call it done. So literally facing like that. Let's see what they've done. Come on, let me show you. Lovely up here, isn't it?
Nearly nighttime, goosies. All right. Look at that.
Often wonder if we shouldn't have our house up here. We got lovely sunsets when we were living in a caravan in this field. Our
did.
caravan was facing west, our house is facing
Oh,
south.
we still get them in the side of the kitchen, but
During winter,
yeah, it is amazing. And it's amazing how quickly it changes to this side, isn't it?
no, it's not unusual. You never see those
Rolling clouds.
no, the masts on top of Mount
Yeah,
Gilroy.
I was thinking that too.
How come you see them so clear now?
I don't know.
That's the aliens have landed. They're pretty clear. I only ever remember seeing the golf balls.
Everybody's getting ready for bed. But yes, let us show you what happened today.
I may not even include it in the video, it's not really much to show. But I had taped out where I wanted everything to go. And the guys from Cronin's have done a super neat job to put our 2 batteries there and our inverter. I was talking to them afterwards about, they reckon it's quite easy to add new batteries. So this is
It's like on its own legs.
8 kilowatt hour. That's a 9 kilowatt hour. And they said you can add 1 more. So I was just chatting to them because they haven't run the PV wires yet. The PV aren't even up there. But we're going to cut the trunk in back just in case we want to add more batteries. So we'll have a wall of batteries here. But this is a super smart system. This is called a gateway. And this is tapped into the live feed from the network, and it'll switch over in the event of a power loss, I think within about 200 milliseconds. I'll have to double check that. But this is the smart, so we can have a power loss, we won't even know. We'll get a notification on our phone to say you've lost power, but don't worry, you're on your backup. The gateway will detect when there's a storm coming. It'll deplete the batteries and then pull down all of the energy from the grid, so that when the power cut or the storm comes, we'll have full batteries regardless of sun. So we'll all do that automatically. I haven't used the system, I haven't seen the system, but
We've done a lot of Googling.
A lot of YouTubing.
yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there, to give you an explanation about what it's all about.
Yeah, I don't want to. There we go. I'm too tall. I don't want to lose the daylight, so I'm going to continue with the roof. The guys are going to come back and wire this tomorrow. Literally, all they've done is they've installed the hardware, but they're going to come back and wire the whole thing. And we also have our car charger here, and I don't know if there's anything else hardware-wise they have to install. It's just they're going to come back, do the wiring tomorrow, and then the day after on Thursday, the roofers are going to come to put solar up. So we'll show you the roofers as they go up, and we'll not sure we'll record the guys because it's very dark in here, even in the daylight, and there's not a lot of room to put a camera. So we're talking to Yuri and Willie, who are electricians from Cronin's Electrical, and they reckon we could record, but you'd only get their back as they're moving in. And there's 2 electricians working there, so
Yeah, it's a bit of a
we'll
small
maybe
space.
just give them a few questions and might even record that for you. It weighs, each of these batteries are 70 kilos. The batteries have heating elements, so it'll heat up during winter. They have cooling elements to cool down during the summer. They have like 3 different types of fire extinguisher. They're like the best batteries on the planet. It's like unbelievable stuff. They're rated to be kept outdoors in snow and storms, but we're still keeping them indoors. But this place isn't the driest. There's no insulation on it, so
Well, it's quite dry.
so then basically we did that, and then the next day they just did the rest of the cabling. It's a super neat job. I wanted them to put things in such a way that we can expand our batteries and we can go up. I think we can add at least another 9 kilowatts.
Well, the
of
system is
batteries, I
such
think.
that they all interconnect.
Yeah.
So it stands like a massive tower. So at the moment it's here, but you can expand the tower further up.
And then
So-
the roofers came back the next day and they loved our roof because it was a metal roof. It's very easy to attach things to the metal roof, and we just dry wood underneath, so they
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about leaks or anything. And it was a ground level, so I don't even think they took the ladders off their vans.
No, well, probably not.
They did the job. They were very
Very
good
quick.
to come and help with. Anything else that was lying around, they were very useful to. They were very friendly to help out wherever they could. They were very neat, and yeah, we had a good time with them.
And a very nice team all round. Everybody kind of knew each other and got on, and it's really nice to see a really good team. Really, I think that's a hard thing to have in a company. Probably is to have a really cohesive team that all work together.
They all
And
got
that was
along
very
really well,
obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, there was a nice bit of banter to give Willie a bit of confidence to do the interview with us,
Oh,
or to have
yeah.
a little chat with
Yeah.
us about the system, and we're very grateful. Willie was we only
It was
expected
super.
to ask Willie 1 or 2 questions, but he was really happy to he really likes the system and enjoys the system, and he wants to help people and give them exactly what they want, and that comes true when you talk to him, and he just wanted to talk about the systems he had. Another thing is, this was, I don't know, they didn't normally offer the car charger that goes with the system, but we asked were they able to source it, so they went out. They wanted they sell a Zappi system for car chargers for all of their systems, but as everything was SIG Energy, we asked could we get the car charger with it. So they went off, they tried to source it, they figured out how to install it, and he was happy to then talk about it afterwards.
Yeah,
so.
it was really good. Yeah, excellent.
So let's roll that on. Come back with Willie and we talk to you in a minute.
So the lads are back from Cronin's Solar, based down in Coolmaine, Kilbrittain, actually my home village. And let's go out and see what they're at. Find out a little bit more information. Let's go.
They are unreal. Are you happy with it?
We are indeed. We've done a good job, and we got the great weather for it as well, so it always helps.
Yeah.
So it's a good, strong, big system there, so that'll go down well. So hopefully it'll bring your bill down anyway.
Had you any problems? That roof was it wouldn't be my finest work, but
They actually made it look good now.
they did actually, yeah.
The ripples in it.
hides all the rust.
No, the lads were well able to get up and they were able to fit the clamps, so it just fits in nicely. You might see the odd little ripple because it's not exactly level, but they did a great job leveling it up as best they could, and it looks good.
Yeah, a bit easier than climbing on top of a house anyway, I'd say.
Oh, 100%. Nice and easy, close to the ground. The lads that it got done into.
Fine
If we're going in
space.
and have a look, we
We'll
can
have a
show you
look,
what
yeah.
the inside bit.
Let's have a look, yeah.
Where all the hard work happens.
The real work.
A SIG Energy system here with 17 kilowatt of batteries, loads of storage. We've installed the gateway on this, so in the event of a power cut you have instant backup power which will kick onto the batteries then to feed your property after. So that's a great feature and very, very easy to install.
That's one of the reasons that we wanted it. Well, there was 2 main reasons. Was because it did change over so fast, isn't it? Only
just instant
like even-
milliseconds. You wouldn't notice. You might see the light just barely flicker it even, and it'll be straight over. Then it worked out easier for us here because your consumer unit happened to be here. So in order for this to work, your ESB cabinet is behind this. So the mains from your ESB then go into the gateway first, and then from the gateway to your house, and then from the gateway to the inverter system here. how everything was just in the right location for us for it to work out on this particular install. So that helped massively.
The other thing that we really wanted with particularly is the gateway that sold it, is we weren't sure whether we wanted a off-grid or an on-grid system. And I think this is the only one that we came across. And not only would it like 100% do off-grid as well, but I think you were saying as well, it's very easy to attach a generator and stuff.
Yes, you have the option of a diesel generator to be able to plug into the gateway as well, so you can operate the two at the one time if you had an off-grid situation that there's been a big power cut and you're going to be off-grid for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And the solar can still operate at the same time as well, so to give you power until the ESB network can get back up and going. So a very handy feature with this particular unit. We do have other units. We do have a good inverter that we install as well. Not quite as high tech as this particular unit here, but you can get a backup socket that we can install in that one to give you some minimum power for an outage or that, and to kind of suit people's budgets and different to kind of to suit to get solar and in this case. But
because you were saying, Willie, early to me that this is like the Rolls Royce of the whole
it is.
thing.
It's a fairly
at
good
the
system,
moment.
but it's an incredibly simplistic system and good in quality.
Yes.
That you wouldn't get a problem with it, and like I said, very efficient to install, where the batteries can interlock into one another, and easy to add to it as well. And so that makes it even handier because it's all click and keeps it all in a kind of neatly typed package.
Yeah.
I just love how streamlined this is. Like, it doesn't look like a solar install, like, you know, the old blue ones with cables everywhere.
Yes.
And this looks almost like an Apple Mac or something.
No, it's good.
And the LEDs, I don't know, is the camera going to pick them up? But there's LEDs that go up the side.
If you're really fancy, you can go onto your app and you're able to change the colours of them, and you can make Christmas versions out of it and things like
Christmas
that.
versions.
So, great, I know, great for the kids to play with, to get it going, playing with the lights and things like that. But it was a novelty when we first knew about it. We'd be changing it all and everything, but no.
And also, isn't there like mad safety features in this? Like, isn't there? I know it'll heat up and cool down the battery, but isn't there a fire safety or something?
There's a fire retardant built inside the battery, so if in the rare event or the terrible event something did happen, that it would burst out fire retardant to quench the fire. So a very safe feature.
Because I very briefly considered building my own batteries, but there wouldn't be any sort of safety stuff on it, and that's crazy that they can fit all that safety stuff in it.
It's very handy. But a lot of people actually, it's probably be a top question. A lot of people are fearful of solar about catching fire. But
that's true.
But in reality, everything is built very, very, very safe, and people shouldn't get as worried as they do. See, YouTube kind of can tend to maybe scare people a little bit, but everything, once you have a qualified electrician installing it, you won't have any issues or any problems. And get good quality equipment.
And what are the other sort of problems people come to with, customers? Or issues or fears or concerns?
I'd say the main problem I come across is, now we got lucky here, now you have a lovely internet set up for us. Everything for commissioning and thing relies on internet and Wi-Fi to get things going. It's probably the way most products rely on Wi-Fi these days.
Yeah.
So we were lucky in this case that you had a Wi-Fi system here. And it's probably something, if they are looking solar, to probably look at it getting forward. If they want to see it on their app or anything like that, it's internet dependent and Wi-Fi dependent. We can come to some houses where there'll be solid stone walls or concrete walls, and you're going to have trouble getting the internet signal out there.
Yes.
So that would probably be the main concern I'd have going with it. Everything is very app dependent, but we have Darren on our security team who's very good at Wi-Fi internet connections, and if we ever have a problem, he's very good at getting a solution. Get him out there to kind of take a look at it. But no, that's probably the main issue I find with people mostly is Wi-Fi. And then just choosing the particular system and where to put it, because a lot of installs are obviously retrofit now, like, so trying to get it into an old house can present its own challenge. But so it's just finding out the room in the house. A lot of the time you mightn't have room in the house to put it. A lot of people install them in attics. People can be wary about attics. It's okay, it's fine, they are very, very safe if done properly. So I wouldn't people put them off. But ideally, in an ideal world, have them either kind of in your utility room or get units like these that can go outside.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they'll be much better.
Yes, of
a
course.
lot easier to
Actually,
access.
that was the other thing, is this is one of the only ones that was like meant to be kept outside, or not meant to be.
No,
But
it's design could be put outside.
Yeah.
Like every product. Like if you have a car and keep it in the garage, it can last longer
Yes,
than if you
you're
keep a car
diverse,
outside.
yeah.
But this is IP rated to be outstand the weather. Kind of something similar if you think to your air to water units that you have out the back.
Yeah.
To kind of blend into the other.
It does, actually.
So that's a good and handy.
Yeah, one of the things that we really liked about Cronin and why we were happy to go with you was the kind of when we were talking to Craig, and in fact it was Craig that mentioned, I should give him a shout out. Craig mentioned that it would be really awkward if we had to send communications to the house and then to bring it back out again.
Yeah.
So good one, Craig. But it was just like we found it really frustrating to deal with a lot of solar companies, and there was a lot of kind of strangeness about different solar companies had different kind of information, and also maybe getting the customer service from people. I was amazed talking to you guys that you come from so far. Like you come from like 2 hours in one direction.
Dungarvan.
Yeah.
You can blame my wife for that.
But then your colleague Yuri comes from like 2 hours the other direction.
But to be fair, Cronin's is very good to work for, and we've no issues, and they're very, very nice people, and we're very well treated.
Well, we can see as well, and even I said to you inside just how nice the team are. You know, you've been great as a team, like lovely. Like sit down and have a tea with you guys.
Make me blush,
you know?
So
But it's such a lovely, and also just to mention that Cronin's, like, they don't subcontract out. So
That's
like
right, yeah.
the roof is done by you guys.
Yeah, no,
the electrics is all done by you
agree.
guys. So it's just one company looks after the whole lot.
Yeah.
Which actually Craig had mentioned to us, that is a benefit because you're all linked together in some way.
Cronin's does the apprenticeship scheme, and if he can, he'll try keep it in house, and so once someone comes up the line, we'll be able to kind of train them in house and be able to join the team that way, which would kind of help it out rather than trying to outsource it, especially in the time where everything is so competitive.
That's right.
And then trying to get the right people in the door as well. Like.
No, I was just amazed that we just had a great service with you, and then when you turned up, I couldn't imagine that you were from all over the place.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's mental.
It's great.
And I will show you a new car charger we got in, because on this we have the integrated car charger with the SIG Energy, which is also very handy, because usually if we install a solar system, we have to install a separate car charger that wouldn't be with the same make, if you like, so it'll be two separate apps.
Yes.
The benefit to this is it'll be all on the one app, and you can
Amazing,
control it on the one, which makes it very easier.
Come on, we have a look at the car charger.
yeah.
But Claire wanted to get a tripod, and she wanted to have 2 seats and lighting and kind of a flipboard.
My legs like that, I'll be too comfortable. At least you're standing.
So one of the things we weren't sure that we were going to get, but we figured we should get, was the car charger. Now we have had cars. I think our first electric car was 2019, and then we had 2 other electric cars after that, and then we had a hybrid plug-in for a while. We actually don't have one at the moment.
No.
But I mean, it just made sense when you were putting in the system to get the kind of matching sort of things. They all talk to each other.
We also have our daughter is just about to learn. She's just about to do her test, so she'll want a car, and she'll probably want some kind of electric car eventually once she gets rid of the bean can up there.
It kind of
She's already going on about
very
it.
good here. It's kind of very green, like you're kind of in the wilderness,
Doesn't
if you like,
it?
and just it blends
Yeah.
in there. It's kind of like the planet-wise and everything. But
I'd love to say that was planned, but that was just some scrap wood we had left around. So.
it looks very well though. It's very kind of rustic-like about it. I do like it, to be fair. Like,
So have you done many of these AC chargers?
We have done many now. The SIG we've only recently started to put in with SIG Energy products. The main car charger on the go would probably, a lot of people would have heard of, probably Zappy.
That was our last one as well.
That would have been the mainstream car charger, and we still do install them. They're quite simple to install. But
Here, let me tell you, as an actual Zappy customer, what I hated about it, I was telling Claire last night, was the 4 buttons underneath it, you know? Because the button, it goes and it starts to fall apart. And
the water, was it water got in?
Yeah,
and
there was a bit of water.
The
screen started to go as
so
well.
anything with a screen, this is where actually I would really be for the whole app thing.
Yeah.
You know, because when you have something like this, which has to be outside,
Yeah.
because your car. Well, I suppose
There's
unless you
no
have it in the
fiddling
garage.
with it, and
Yeah.
there's no display
There's
to
no-
get damaged
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, so it's better.
No, it helps. So like, and then because it blends in with your solar system, everything is all on the one app. So you're
Yeah,
able to go
that
and
would be
control it
great.
from the one app. It does come with its own fob. To obviously, you can't just rock up and plug it in. You
Yeah,
have
well,
to-
that's good.
You have to be
Security
able
side of
to
it.
scan it with a fob. You can get a second fob off Sig Energy to just if you
Yes.
wanted to have 2 cars or things
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
but if you didn't have the fob, because people might misplace them and things like that, you can still operate it from your app
Yeah.
to start it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where you change the settings. If you want it on fast charge, which will work on the max from the grid, solar and
amazing,
battery
yeah.
to get it as quickly as
Is
possible.
that the sorry to interrupt? Is that the same app then that does this one
Yes,
as well?
exactly.
Because we had, I don't think we even had a Zappy app the last time.
No,
And
we
I know
didn't.
the
There was
Zappy
no app.
didn't really. No,
You
when we
should-
got
should
it,
have
this
got
was a
one.
long time
Oh,
ago.
this
It
was
probably
the
wasn't
very
there.
first one
Very
that
beginning.
came out, I'd say.
2019.
Yeah.
But actually, the what was I going to say? With it didn't really communicate. There was a CT clamp, which is
Yes.
something that detects the energy going in and out, and there was intelligence in the Zappy. But with this, is it right that it's all contained in the gateway? There's nothing directly in this.
If you didn't have the gateway, it would work on the principle of a CT clamp then.
Okay.
And we'd have to go that way too, so it know what the grid is doing to know whether it needs to charge or discharge or where to get. But the gateway has it built in, so
Yeah.
you don't have to fit the clamps. So it was quite easy there because your house supply is there.
Yes.
And so everything worked out great. But if we were putting it in the garage and your house supply is
yeah.
in the house or on the house, then you have to try get the CT clamp back then to the house.
Yeah. Oh,
man.
And that's where you have to go to wireless communication.
Yeah.
And that's
okay.
where you can come into problems with trying to pick up signal.
Of course.
Or if someone has hard stone walls, it can get a bit tricky with the wireless.
yeah.
Nothing is better, obviously. Always go hardwired if you can go hardwired.
Yes.
But that was probably one problem. But as when the gateway was here and the way this particular system worked out, it just fitted perfectly.
Yeah.
And we did see, I was telling you about that, the UK electrician, I think it's Artisan Electrics, but he did one episode where he went to an old system and there was 4 CT camps. Like, they were
yeah.
measuring everything. There was something going to the garage, something to the car charger, or something.
Yes.
Like, you could do the Wi-Fi, but like then if you can have it wired, that's good. But if you can have it all from the same brand,
And
that's
probably
brilliant.
the thing too with other systems. You'd have to have a multiple clamps. If you had a Zappy car charger and a I'll just go Goodway for instance.
Yeah.
You need a CT for the Goodway.
Oh,
You then need a CT for the car charger, and then depending on if you want to see it on the Zappy app as well, you need a further CT to put on the solar side to see it on the Zappy app and to see it on the so it's app after app. Which so it's nice that this one is all in one.
It is definitely.
You know, it's like Apple, because they know this works better with the SIG system, you could think they could double the price of it, but they don't, you know? So I kind of feel like that's fair as well, coming from SIG. They know all their things work together, but they're not extortionate, like, you know?
Well,
Or maybe I'm wrong, because the batteries are extortionate.
The Sig Energy's batteries are quite expensive.
are.
They are, the batteries.
But
Yeah.
you're probably paying for the quality of it. I'd
Yeah.
say more so.
Yeah.
But and then
The convenience of it.
the convenience of having it
Big
all
time.
in one is what you're is
You know?
No, and you guys offer 24/7 like call out issues for the next
Day.
for the next 25 years if we ever have a problem.
He's not coming from
no.
Dungarvan to Ballydehob again.
What was I going to say? No,
Done.
there'd be no call outs because it was done properly.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
perfect first time every time.
Yeah.
Willie, thanks to you and thanks to the whole
Thank
team.
you. You've been
Fair
an
play.
absolute pleasure
Yeah,
to
that
deal
was
with.
Yeah.
great.
And
Yeah.
we've been fed
And
with
you're-
cakes and buns and all sorts.
The coop
God,
fed them,
full.
kept them fed.
Yeah.
And Yuri was great, and we met Siri, and I'm not sure of the Reapers' names, but anyway,
Lee and Jar.
Lee and Jer. So yeah, it was great.
Great team,
Talk
great
to them.
experience. Thanks for
Yeah.
everything and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can get them driving out there. You can get a big wave.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. You can just give us a big wave. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
So there we have it. 22 panels. Absolutely delighted with that.
Yeah, super. Absolutely super.
Future proof. we can make some money in the summer. We can use that money during winter, when we're not generating on days like this. We are generating a little bit. Do you know what? I'm gonna throw in a little bit of the using the app. So straight off in the app, you see a nice infographic of the house, the charger, the battery. Scrolling down, you can see some statistics about where your energy is coming, how it's being used. A little bit of data, historical on the battery, a little bit on the energy value, which is cool. That's the AI linking to your rate, and just loads more bits and bobs. You can configure this as you want it. But what's interesting here at the top is the AI mode, which is the first tab there. So it's set up in that at the moment. It's taking 5 days to learn how to use the system, and then it's going to start to make settings on whatever priority I want, really, whether I want to maximize money or maximize use. So you can put your details in there about the particular tariff you're on, and I'm not sure, but maybe it can make suggestions on more suitable tariffs. I got to figure that out. It's only early days of using it. But overall, it's a pretty simple system. Kind of has everything you need. It has, as Willie was saying, it has all the devices, like the battery is here. You can go back to the infographic, click on whatever you want. You can click maybe on the gateway. You can go back to the infographic. You can click on the car charger. And everything is stored in one place, which is kind of nice, and it's pretty useful to us. And as I say, we're only getting used to this at the moment, but in the future, maybe we're going to make this work a little bit harder for us. It has the service details of the installers, so very easy to get support with this from the installers and the company itself.
I think the big thing now is learning how to work it, and the whole gateway package works with your supplier.
Yeah.
So you can see what it does for you, or it works out what's the best option for you, and when you should fill your battery with the cheapest electricity and this sort of thing. So that's incredibly clever, isn't it?
Big learning curve,
so there's a huge amount to learn.
So I woke up at 4
anyway,
this morning to start charging the battery because it was a lot cheaper to use power from the night.
But you didn't have to wake up at 4.
No, I'm a bit sick. She made me sick.
Oh, I had the flu for the last week. Now I've passed it on to Rob.
The woman flu. Advise you all, do so much research, talk to so many providers. Definitely do it. It's a lovely thing to do if you can afford it. A lot of people talk about a return on investment, how long it'll be until we get payback. That makes sense, but it's not, absolutely not why we do it. I never think about a return on investment on the house, or I never think of a return on the investment on the car. And you lose a lot more money on a car. You know, buy an old car and get solar panels. Don't worry about your return on investment. But for me, it's the fact that I know that our electricity bills are going to be free from now on. So 3 things that I'm concerned at over the later part of my life is financial independence. Just get rid of mortgages, loans, debts if you can. Food independence. We have the geese coming to see what's up. We have some chickens there, and we have our ducks doing great slug patrol in the growing circle. So we're kind of close to the food independence, and the very last thing was always energy independence for me. I want control of my energy, and that means using less energy. This is how we designed our house. Yeah. But also making sure that you're producing energy, and even in the sunny days you're making money off the energy. You know, so food independence, financial independence, and energy independence. And I'm not too worried about return on investment. It's probably about 5 years, really, I think. Yeah, maybe a bit more. Maybe it's about 7 years, depending at current energy prices. But yeah, that's not something I would really consider when thinking about the solar.
No, not at all.
So definitely do your research. Don't worry about the return on investment. Try and get excellent customer service, even if it costs a little bit more. And if you are in West Cork, 100% talk to Cronin Solar and Cronin's Electrical, and we'll have their contact details below for you.
A massive thank you to all of our Patreons and our members and subscribers. We don't obviously do any advertising. If you do want to support us, you can support us that way. And
Or you could buy a postcard on Ko-fi.
yeah, we still, oh man, we'll have to get that going again for Christmas.
Yes.
But while we're there, I just wanted to give a big message of warmth and support to Trish, who is one of our Patreons, and
One of our longest
she's going
Patreons, I
through some difficult times, and just a big hug to her from us both.
And if you could send some positive vibes to her, and if you pray a few of them wouldn't go astray, that would be great.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.